Fair? It's a word we throw around constantly, right? We talk about fair rules, fair chances, and fair results. But what does it actually mean? It seems like it's a word we feel a lot more than we can actually define. So let's give it a shot.
Yeah, most of the time we don't really stop to explain it. We just feel it. We have this instinct, this gut reaction that a situation is balanced and right, or that it's just unbalanced and deeply, deeply wrong.
To get a real handle on this, let's start with a simple story. Picture this. Two teenagers both want to join the same local football team. The only problem is there's just one spot left on the roster. So after the tryouts, the coach makes the call, and one of them gets that final spot. Now, if you ask people about it, you'll probably hear something like, "Oh, that's fair. He trained more." And on the surface, that sounds totally reasonable, doesn't it? More work, better outcome. It kind of feels like the end of the story. But is it really? Is our sense of fairness, our whole idea of what justice is, really that simple and straightforward? Or is there maybe something way more complicated going on just under the surface of that simple answer? To figure that out, we're going to look at this problem through three different lenses from three different thinkers. And our first lens, it focuses on the very foundation of any competition, the rules of the game. Okay, first up, let's talk about the philosopher John Rawls. His whole thing was that to build a truly just society, we first have to agree on fair rules. But, and this is the big question, how do we do that without our own biases getting in the way? Well, Rawls came up with this really fascinating thought experiment called the veil of ignorance. Imagine you get to design all the rules for a brand new society. But here's the catch. You have no idea who you're going to be. You don't know if you'll be rich or poor, where you'll live, or what advantages you might have. You're basically designing the rules from a completely impartial position. Okay, let's bring this idea back to our football team. Let's say the rule is tryouts are always at 6 a.m. On paper, that rule is the same for everyone. It seems totally equal. But wait, look a little closer. Teenager 1 lives just 5 minutes away from the field. He can wake up, grab breakfast, and show up feeling rested and ready. But teenager 2? He has to take 2 buses just to get there. That means waking up way earlier and showing up tired before he even starts. The same rule creates 2 very different starting points. And this is where Rawls's big question comes in. If you were behind that veil of ignorance and you didn't know if you were going to be the kid who lives close by or the one who lives far away, would you still choose that 6 a.m. rule? Or would you try to create a system that was a little more accommodating? And that really gets to the heart of it for him. For John Rawls, justice isn't really about who wins in the end. It's about making sure the rules of the game were fair for everybody, right from the very start. Okay, so fair rules are a huge piece of the puzzle, but that's not the whole story, right? Let's switch to our second lens, which asks us to look past the rules on paper and focus on what people are actually able to do in real life. And that's where the economist and philosopher Amartya Sen comes in. He argued that justice isn't so much about the rules we have, but about what he called our capabilities. Basically, our real, actual freedom to go after the things we care about. It's about having a genuine opportunity, not just one that exists in theory. Let's use another scenario to see what Sen means. Imagine 2 teenagers both have a great idea to sell snacks after school to make some money. Now, on paper, they both have the same opportunity, but teenager 1 has some money saved up to buy the snacks and supplies. Teenager 2, though, has to go straight home to help out with chores and has no money to get started anyway. So even though the opportunity is there for both of them, in real life, only one of them can actually give it a shot. You see, for Amartya Sen, this is the whole point. Justice isn't just about saying, hey, everyone has a chance. It's about making sure people have the real, tangible ability to act on that chance. For him, justice means real opportunities. So we've got fair rules and we've got real opportunities. But there's a third lens we need to look through, and this one is deeply personal. It's all about how we see and value each other as human beings. This brings us to the work of philosopher Adela Cortina, and she asks this incredibly powerful question: how are people actually seen by their society? Are they treated with the dignity and respect they deserve? Or are they judged and dismissed just because of their circumstances? All right, let's put this into a situation we all know, a group chat. So, a teenager, maybe someone who often has to ask friends for a Wi-Fi password because they don't have data at home, shares a really great idea in the chat. People see the message, and then nothing, silence. A little while later, someone else in the group posts the exact same idea. And what happens? The chat immediately blows up with replies and likes. Everyone thinks it's brilliant.
So what just happened there? The idea itself didn't change at all. What changed was how people perceived the person who shared it. Adela Cortina actually gave a name to this powerful and often invisible prejudice, apophobia. It's a word she made from Greek that means the rejection of or contempt for the poor and powerless. It's not about where you're from, it's about what you lack. And for Cortina, you just can't have a just society if you ignore this stuff. Justice needs more than just fair rules or even real opportunities. It demands a fundamental commitment to treating every single person with dignity and respect, no matter their economic or social status. All right, so we've looked through 3 really different lenses. Now let's bring them all together and see how they create a much more complete picture of what it means to be fair. Think of this as our toolkit for figuring out what's just. First, John Rawls has us asking, are the rules themselves fair, especially for the people with the fewest advantages? Then, Amartya Sen pushes us to ask, okay, beyond the rules, do people have real opportunities to live the lives they want to live? And finally, Adela Cortina makes us look inward and ask, are people being treated with the basic dignity and respect they deserve just for being human? And this, right here, is probably the most important thing to remember. True justice isn't one simple answer. It's a combination of all 3 of these questions. A situation might seem to have fair rules, but if people don't have real opportunities or they aren't treated with dignity, is it really just? So, the final question. Well, it isn't for me to answer. It's for you to ask. Take a look around at your own school, your neighborhood, your community, and ask yourself, what would justice mean right here,